Now this is part 4 of the BIMOTA restoration. What I've had is the black drying. I wanted it to dry overnight since it's gone over Bondo. And now what I want to do, I want to show you or share with you a little trick I learned long ago about getting a blend on paint, the clear blend. Now most people that have never done this kind of work think you just spray paint. This is what they think. You spray paint this, and when you're all done you buff it out a little and you don't see that line where the clear ends, the new paint. And what always happens, there's a step, there's a place at which the blend ends, and it's very tricky to get that as nice as you can. But this is one of the tricks, and this is a really good trick. Probably you will not see this in a lot of other places on the internet. We used to use this trick in modeling, and I want to show this up close. I have painted the black, the first coat of black. Then what I did, I pulled up the masking tape. I did exactly what I'm doing right now. Pulled up the tape and moved the tape back, the line, about a 1/64 of an inch. Not much. So that what happens, instead of having you have 3 or 4 or 5 little steps. Now, if you can imagine how this is going to be, I'm going to spray some clear on this, and I'm going to airbrush it. I'm not going to use a spray gun. The idea is I'm going to move this tape back, put the next coat on, maybe a 1/64 of an inch further back, and then move that back a 1/64 of an inch 3 or 4 times so that I can kind of hide that line. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, but what it means is it'll be as good as you possibly can make it under these conditions that we're working with. Because we're never working with, and we're doing this kind of stuff. And I assume when Vlad brings the Motus over, it's not going to be new either, especially since it's been in a ditch once already. But what we try to do is salvage the parts and make them as good as possible. But this is a really worthwhile trick. And maybe some other people have used it. I don't know. I kind of invented it as I went along in the world of modeling. Because you're always fixing something, and it'd always be that. Now, let me show this really up close. We don't have a really good macro lens, but I think you'll get the idea. So if you see what I've done, see that little shiny spot? That's where there's already a finish with clear. The black, of course, has no clear on it yet, and I wanted this to be perfectly dry. And now I'm just going to, with an airbrush, airbrush a coat of clear on this. Now by moving that tape back a little bit each time I do it, what's going to happen? Hopefully we will get a nicer blend. It will not be perfect. And actually, in this case, it's not really super important, because what we're going to do is, this you don't even see, it's on the bottom of the motorcycle. And then we're going to work on the 2 red fairing sides and see what we can do about those. And this is the clear we'll be using. And this, of course, is a fast hardener. So what should happen is I should be able to get a coat on, and maybe 20 minutes, half an hour later, move that tape back, another coat. I want to get 3 coats of clear on all together. And all with the airbrush. Alright, this is our IWATA airbrush, and what it's really good for is this spray that comes out of here has very little overspray, and we can adjust that to be a very fine mist. So the advantage of this is we'll have, hopefully, again, a smoother blend line. But we'll get 1 coat on, and then again move the tape, put another coat on 20 minutes later, and hopefully that line will be a nice ramp instead of a jagged cliff. And by the way, there's an IWATA airbrush that really is a nice unit. This is really one of the better ones. Now the only little downside of painting with an airbrush, it takes forever to paint it, but that paint does go on a lot with a lot less overspray. So we're back to this after the third coat. I'm not sure if that's going to be exactly what we want, but once it dries up we'll see a lot more. Anyway, now we can go work on those red parts while this is drying. Now this is a whole different issue. What Vlad wants to fix on this, and you can see that at some point in time a bolt goes through here. Somebody put a washer or something on here and it's not flat at all. So we're going to try to block sand this down just enough, back mask this, and try to fill this in with clear so it's a little more just cosmetically correct. And Vlad didn't want to pull this rubber off for some reason, so I guess I'll back mask over it when we get to do the painting. But let's just see how this starts to work out. So what I'm going to do is start. I've thoroughly cleaned this part with simple green. I'm going to start with some 2000 grit paper and see how this, if we can flatten that out just a little bit. Now I've got it pretty flat, except that obviously there's a big ditch around the bolt. I'm going to try to fill it in with some thick CA and see if that's... See, Bondo is going to crack here right away. Bondo is not an appropriate choice here. So if I can do that with the thin, well, maybe with the thick CA, we'll just have to see if that's going to work. But I know that when you tighten that bolt, if that's Bondo, it's going to crack. Now, a couple of tricks to doing it this way, and I'm not sure if this is going to be the ultimate or the right way, but I know Bondo is the wrong way. So this gives me the best chance at that when this bolt is tightened, and of course there's no guarantee, and by the way, this is Brodak CA. We're just going to try to build this up just a little bit higher than the area around it, and then block sand it down if that's going to work. We're going to see. And we probably try to do this in several steps if this works the way I want. You can see what I've done. I've just built it up, and this will take about 3 minutes to dry. I don't want to use kicker on it. Now again, with 2000 grit, I'm going to try to level this off a little bit with a block. This is going to take a few minutes, so I won't let the camera run, but we may have to do this 2 or 3 steps. You never know, because that CA now is rock hard. And it's about 20 times stronger than the Bondo. Now, it's just going to take some time to get that nice and flat. After a lot of hand sanding, we've gotten that. Now here's the problem. Once you break down into raw plastic, I'm going to airbrush this red on. I'm going to try to mask off a half moon area, not remove the rubber. But again, when you're trying to blend colors, there's really no guarantee on this. Here is cracked. We're going to pretty much do the same thing here, is try to just sand enough of an area away that we could fill that little crack in. Now this is even trickier than I thought, because what happened, apparently this bolt has crushed the fairing here and cracked. It's got a crack that goes all the way through, so I'm going to have to fix this with some thin CA. The thin CA is capillary, so it'll go down into that crack. Hopefully keep it from cracking again, but well, you wish there was some guarantees on this. Now what I can do is squeeze this together. Now what I have to do is block sand. This crack goes quite a ways up. I block sand this in and then back mask it. Hopefully the white will match. Now this is sealed now from the back and front. I'm going to hope that white paint, I'm going to do this all with the airbrush. Hopefully this will be a close match. Red almost never is a perfect match, but we'll hope we get that as close as we can. I need to do the one part on the other fairing, and then I can finish the paintwork here for today. Fairing side, we have to pretty much do exactly the same thing as the other one. I'm not sure if that's going to be, It looks a little lower than the other one. We have to do the same procedure though. The problem with this stuff is there's just no shortcut. And if the blend is not what Vlad wants, the alternative is he's going to have to buy these decals, buy more red paint. Now you're looking at and probably $300 or $400 worth of labor to refinish this whole thing and rebuff it. So we're really hoping that this is going to work out well. Once again, 3 coats of white, 15-20 minutes apart. Now the next step will be to shoot the red. And then we'll try to airbrush on a little clear and see if it's going to be a close match. We won't really know till the next day, till it dries out. Actually, the match doesn't look too bad. Believe it or not, when you look at this, it doesn't look like this would be a lot of work. This was a whole day of painting. Now with all the red and all the white on this, is just going to dry out in the sun here. I'll do the other part. And then that's going to have to sit another 20 minutes, and then we'll be ready to shoot a little bit of clear on this. Yeah, I'm guessing, I don't know for sure yet, I'm guessing once we put the clear on it, it's going to be a reasonably good match. And we won't actually know, in fact I feel a little hurricane coming in just in the nick of time, how close this is going to match and how good the blend is going to be. Whoa, look at this wind blowing. Looks like we're getting done here just in time. And we won't know until tomorrow, till we pull a tape and take a look at what we got. But we did get a lot done today. Now I always like to check this at the end of the day. See how it looks like it's drying up here in a laundromat. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be, well, you really don't know until we pull the tape tomorrow or the next day. We really should let it dry more than a day. But and then you don't know if the color match is going to be fine or the blend is going to be fine or both. But the alternative to this is to refinish the whole part, which is hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So we try, if we possibly can, not to do that, of course. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Some of these little tips are worth checking out. We'll finish this on the next, well, hopefully finish it on the next time we get a work day here. Fall is in the air. Every day is unpredictable. And it's a very important thing not to rush the dry time. If it sits out here for an extra day, it works to our advantage. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for riding. Thanks for riding all over the planet. Thanks for burning up the wheels and keeping the tire places in business. Oh, I need a nap. This was a rough day. Vlad, if you only knew. Anyway, again, thanks for watching.